Well, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. It's nice to have you back. So a while back, Buck released the HiLine, and it rapidly became one of my favorite sort of budget-friendly pocket knives. It's D2, it's got a great cleaver blade, excellent shape, very comfortable and well-made. It's aluminum. This thing is fantastic. A little while ago, our friend David over at Blade Banter released the Cetus, which is different design, but offers much of the things that I love about the HiLine. And I thought, you know, it sure would be great if this was even a little bit bigger. And then somebody mentioned to me that they make a HiLine XL, and that's what we have here. Now these are about 55 bucks. It is aluminum scales, it is micarta overlays. The XL is a liner lock, which is fantastic. It is super comfortable. It is very slicey, I can speak. This is Buck's D2. It is hollow ground. This thing is fantastic, and it's $55, $54.99. It's got a really nice little deep carry clip on it. It shares many of the same features as the smaller one, but it is clearly its own knife. Now this, of course, is a frame lock, as is the Cetus. But I really like what they've done here. Just as a straight everyday carry working tool, the XL is fantastic and very comfortable in hand. And as with the HiLine that I got, unlike Buck knives of many generations, this thing is really well put together. There were no visible flaws. The blade is dead center. Everything is lined up perfectly. Everything is really well done, and that makes me really happy. I do like Buck knives, and this is one of their made in China knives. It's not made in the US, but that's how it's 55 bucks. You know, I've heard some people say that they wish that this one is 14C, that the big Buck had followed in the Cetus footsteps and done 14C, but I like Buck's D2. I've never had a rust issue. I've never had an edge issue. You know, this is just a fantastically slicey cutting tool. Let's get some specs out of the way. It is a full-size knife. If we line it up over here, as you can see, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 3/4 inches overall. The cutting edge is about 3.6, 3.7 inches, and the blade is 3.75 inches overall. Grip area from behind that swell, you're looking at 1, 2, 3 and 3/4. And it just perfectly fits my hands. So if you got hands that are my size or a little bit smaller, it's going to be very comfortable for you. This thing is great for draw cuts. Closed length on the HiLine XL. We're coming in at 5 1/8. And the in the pocket profile, you know, I guess we'll do it here. It's a little shy of 1.5 inches, but it does have this flipper, which is, it's got fairly soft jimping on it. It's not going to do any damage, but you're going to want to keep that in mind. And it is a full-size knife, as I keep saying. Let's do some size comparisons with other tools you might be familiar with. Just for giggles, here it is against the full-size Adamas. As you can see, the HiLine XL and the Adamas are full-size Adamas are very similar in overall dimensions. Here it is against the mini Adamas. Right. And just because we have them on the table, here it is against the Cetus from Orion Knives and the standard HiLine. Move that up so you can see it. What are we doing here? Right. Get those pivots lined up. You can see that is an excellent family of knives. Now, these are not all related, right? These two are, but if you like this style of cutting edge, this sort of flat edge that drops down to a point so you can do excellent draw cuts and work with material this way, any of these would be fantastic. And all of these are really budget friendly. These are great knives. Let's see, what else can we do? Oh, here it is against the full-size Griptilian. As you can see, the HiLine XL is bigger than the grip, which means, of course, it's going to be way bigger than our old friend, the Bug Out here. Well, I hope that helps you understand where this thing falls in the overall size of things. Now, because it's a liner lock, it is a little thick through the handle. If we lay that down, we're looking at, yeah, it's a full 1/2 inch this way. I mean, you're going to know this thing is in the pocket, but it's not heavy. And God, is it snappy. This is just, since I started this channel, I have said repeatedly that I wish companies like Buck and SOG and Gerber would do this, and Buck's doing it. They have leaned back into quality made, reasonably inexpensive cutting tools that are just fun to look at and excellent to use. I mean, this thing is fantastic. Let's weigh it. That's just something we do here on the channel. Oh yeah, the fan. Well, let's move that up that way. We added a fan in our living room, and now you can see it spinning on the, on the scale. All right, 4.4 ounces. It's a little bit over that ounce per inch for the 3.75 inch blade, but I'm telling you, this thing is balanced. It's just really well done, so it doesn't feel heavy in hand. I really like this thing. For those of you that have been watching my channel for a while, you guys know I have a knife collection that runs pretty deep, and it isn't about money. I mean, I have some very expensive knives that I love. It's about the overall design, sort of from end to end. And while there are a million knives at this point, I mean, the last year has seen more knives drop than I ever thought was possible. Many of them are form over function. The Buck here is not. It is an excellent cutting tool. Now, you're not going to want to use this in the kitchen. The way it's designed, it's not going to work very well, but you could absolutely cut food with it above, and you could draw cut. I mean, I've done it. You can cut through material this way. So it's not a replacement for a kitchen implement, but I'll tell you what, if you were carrying this thing camping, you would be very happy. It would do everything you need it to. Now, we are locked up at a little under 50%. I don't know what that's going to mean for the overall lifespan of the knife. It hasn't moved. I've had this for a few weeks. It hasn't moved since I've gotten it, but it is something to be aware of. I want to point out again that the way that they married the micarta to the aluminum is, I mean, it's damn near perfect, right? No really overt gapping. This thing is just well done. Jimping is in just the right spot. There you have it. This is the Buck HiLine XL. What is, to me, an excellent little family of knives from the folks at Buck, and absolutely worth your time and energy. I'll put a link in the description to where you can find one of these XLs. They make a one that's anode yellow, or kind of yellowish, with a different color micarta. They make a black blade version over at SMKW. They've got this one. There are some choices, and so you can poke around and see which one you like best. If you want a small one, you can always get the standard HiLine, and if you want a big one, they got you covered. I love this, by the way. I'm a real fan of when they make knives in two sizes. I just think it's cool. I think it's fun, honestly, and then I think it's cool because if you really like the design of a knife, but you want a little more versatility, right? When they do stuff like this, I don't know. I just think it's a good idea, and I think it's fun. But anyway, there you go. This is the Buck HiLine XL. It's D2. It's aluminum with micarta inlays. Oh, and it's on bearings. Both of these are on bearings, which I think is very cool. And that's where we're going to leave it. Hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.